Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast today. Let me introduce myself. I am Sumia Wilai and I am a master student at Central European University. So today I would like to discuss about the smart working in a digital hybrid world, digital physical hybrid world. Today's many people are working remotely, including myself, and I'm doing my internship from different regions with different time zone. So it now is very important to work smart rather than work harder. So we need to listen. We would like to listen the generation guide to how to win in a digital physical hybrid world. So please welcome our discussants, Dr. Webley. And so let me first ask about understanding the hybrid regions. So, sir, from the Indonesian perspective, why it is increasingly important for Generation Z to master life and work in a digital physical hybrid world?
Okay, thank you, Suryat. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, fine.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you so much for having me here today. It's really an honor to join this insightful conversation. I'm really excited to discuss a topic that not only close to my heart, but also incredibly relevant in today's world. Yeah, how Gen Z is navigating the blend of digital and physical realities. Okay, that's an excellent and very relevant question, yeah, for you. And from an Indonesian perspective, the urgency for Gen Z to master life and working in a hybrid world where the digital and physical reals are deeply intertwined. It's not just a global trend we are following, but a local necessity shaped by these specific dynamics. First, the digital leapfrog we are experiencing. Indonesia is undergoing rapid digital transformation, especially after the pandemic COVID-19. Services that were once fully offline education, healthcare, small business have shifted online almost overnight. This digital acceleration has created massive new opportunities, but also new gaps. And Gen Z, being digital natives, are naturally positioned to lead, but they need to navigate this space with intention, skill, and emotional intelligence. And second one, Indonesian geographical and socioeconomic diversity. We are an archipelago of more than 70,000 islands with highly uneven access to infrastructure. In this context, hybrid system where some part of life and work happen online and other offline are not just convenient; they are essential. But for Gen Z, being fluent in both words means being able to bridge urban and rural, Java and non-Java, connected and disconnected. It's a form of social equity. And the third one, the evolving aspiration of Indonesian youth. More than ever, Gen Z in Indonesia is driven not just by stability, but by meaning. They want to build careers that are impactful, flexible, and aligned with their personal values. The hybrid world offers that, but only if they are equipped to navigate this complexity. That means mastering not only tech platform, but also soft skill, cross-cultural communication, and self-leadership. So in short, the hybrid future is already here, and for Gen Z in Indonesia, mastering it isn't optional. It's the key to thriving in a country that is diverse, dynamic, and digitally fast-moving as ours. The challenge now is not whether the world will be hybrid, but how well we prepare our young people to lead in it ethically, inclusively, and sustainably. Okay, enough and the answer. I hope my voice is clearly. Yeah.
Thank you, Willy, for your answer. Like you explained with 3 facts about the Indonesian perspective on how to master life in this digital hybrid, digital physical hybrid world. So, do you recognize there are any other like specific like local trends or challenges that make the shift more urgent in Indonesia society today?
Yeah, Gen Z used to digital platform, used to application, used to platform to work, to learn, to healthcare, yeah, uh, uh, to education, yeah. Gen Z now work on activities and productivity and tech practice, yeah, journaling, baking, attending local workshop to reset their mind gitu ya. Gen Z uh, Gen Z to Gen Z have seen increasing among to tools for self-regulation and reflection gitu ya. In Bandung, in Yogyakarta, uh, one great example is the rise of offline Sunday communities. These are Gen Z-led groups that encourage a full day of tech-free activity. Example, journaling, biking, attending local workshop, yeah. Apps like Forest, which gamifies staying of your phone, yeah, and Notion to plan and prioritize life goals have seen increasing use among college students and young professionals, not just for productivity, but as tools for self-reflection. It's just
Yeah. So let's move to the topic of digital adaptation and mental resilience. So as digital opportunity grows, so do the risk of like burnout, concerns, distractions, and pressure to always be online. So this is the like most the generation Zs are facing about the about being online. And so how are young people in Indonesia adapting to this fast-paced environment? Are there any strategies of cultural values to help them to stay grounded while staying productive online?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, alongside the vast digital opportunities available to Gen Z, there's also mounting pressure to stay constantly connected, to be always productive, and to perform on social media. This digital intensity can easily lead to burnout, FOMO, yeah, and even identify fatigue. In Indonesia, these challenges are very real. According to 2022 survey by Kata Data Insight Center, more than 62% of Gen Z respondents reported experiencing digital fatigue, especially from academic and work-related online activities. And in a jackpot survey, nearly 7 out of 10 Gen Z Indonesians said they feel tired of being online all the time. But what's encouraging is how many young Indonesians are finding way to adapt, not by disconnected entirely, but by setting conscious boundaries and rethinking what it means to be productive. Many young Indonesians are adopting mindful tech practices, and Indonesia cultural fabric offers strong values that Gen Z is reclaiming. For example, gotong royong or mutual support, yeah, local wisdom, inspire collaborative project and community-driven startup, reducing the isolation that often comes with a digital work. And then kebersamaan or togetherness is reflected in how Gen Z often values in-person time with friends and family, even when work or school is online. Many are also rediscovering spiritual routines, ngaji, meditasi, or puasa gadget atau digital fasting as a form of mental detox. These are not just tradition, they are resilience tools that help them stay grounded. On platform like Instagram and TikTok, accounts such as Relawan Psikologi, Sama-sama Kuat, or Berani Bicara are creating a safe digital space for young people to talk about burnout, anxiety, overwork, and healing. There are also online support groups like sehatmental.id that organize virtual check-in and counseling with licensed psychologists, many at reduced or even free cost for students. And offline in universities like University of Indonesia, IPB, we have also seen the rise of mental health club and empathy cycles where young people learn how to support each other emotionally while navigating a high performance academic culture. Interestingly, Gen Z Indonesian are redefining what success looks like. According to 2023 Deloitte surveys, 61% of Indonesia Gen Z priorities doing meaningful work after earning the highest salary. This show a shift from traditional markets of success for more sustainable purpose-driven metrics. You can see this in the growing popularity of side project, creative startup, and community-based initiative like Spara Surya or Lentera Sintas Indonesia gitu ya. They are choosing depth over speed, purpose over pressure, which is perhaps the most radical response to the digital culture. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, being actively online can affect both like physical health and mental health. That for physical health, like it can affect to your eye, like eye drying, and also to the like mental problems. So you mentioned about how to balance like online and offline in their daily life of the generation sets. So in Indonesia, how is Generation Z redefining the value of face-to-face interaction in education, workplaces, and daily life?
Yeah, absolutely. There is the noticeable shift in how Indonesia Gen Z are redefining the value of face-to-face interaction. While they are undoubtedly digital natives, raised on a steady diet of screens, scroll, and social media. Many are now consciously seeking to reconnect in the real world, and this shift is not just anecdotal. It's showing up in their choice, their values, and even in new social trends. In education, we are seeing growing interest in hybrid learning models. That don't just focus on online efficiency, but also priorities moment of in-person interactions. A survey conducted by the Indonesian Ministry of Education in 2023 found that 72% of university students prefer blended learning, not fully online, because they feel face-to-face sessions are essential for emotional engagement and deeper understanding. And many students express that meeting classmates and lecturers in person provide not only clarity in learning but also a stronger sense of belonging. In the workplace, co-working spaces are booming, not just in Jakarta, but in cities like Bandung, Yogyakarta, and even Bali. Why? Because young professionals are craving both flexibility and community. One startup founder I spoke to recently said, my team can work from anywhere, but every Wednesday we came together at a co-working space not for productivity but to rebuild trust, love, and feel like a team. Yeah. That show you how attentional physical presence has become. It's no longer a default but a deliberate act of connection. And in daily life, there's a noticeable culture pushback against the loneliness of always being online. Offline creative events like art market, local music gigs, and community workshop have seen a sharp revival post-pandemic. Uh, For example, Jakarta Pasar Rakyat Festival in 2023 drew over 30,000 Gen Z visitors in a single weekend. Many of whom said they came not just to shop or take selfies, but to feel connected to people, stories, and real-world experience. So, in short, digital convenience has not erased the desire for real interaction. In fact, it's helping Gen Z clarify what kind of physical presence matters most. They are redefining in-person moment as emotionally meaningful rather than merely habitual. It's less about showing up every day and more about being present when it counts. Ya, itu Simiat.
Yeah. So from your perspective, do you think that is there a noticeable shift from in how young people view physical connections in the middle of digital convenience compared to the older generation? Yeah.
Yeah, my perspective in this conscious rebalancing is a sign of maturity, yeah, and reflect deeper awareness that human connection is still central of creativity, learning, and well-being, even in a hyper digital world now.
Yeah. So let's move on the topic of working smart in the Indonesian context. The idea of working smart is popular globally in this age, but its meanings can differ across culture and country to country. Yeah. So how do Indonesian generations that interpret this concept of working smart? And do you notice any patterns in how they combine productivity with flexibility or wealthiness? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The idea of working smart is one that has gained traction globally. But when it comes to Indonesia, Gen Z has redefined this concept in a very distinct and culturally grounded way. For them, it's not just about efficiency or maximizing output. It's about balancing work with well-being, sustainability, and purpose. In Indonesia, Gen Z is increasingly looking for flexibility in how and where they work. But this doesn't mean sacrificing productivity. In fact, many of them are finding that they work better when they can balance both. A great example of this is the rise of digital nomadism. Indonesia is becoming a hub for young digital entrepreneurs, especially in cities like Bali, Yogyakarta, and Jakarta, where co-working space offer not just a place to work, but also a community to foster creativity and collaboration. According to a 2023 report from the Indonesia Ministry of Tourism and Tourism, 40% of young professionals in Indonesia now prefer jobs that offer remote or flexibility working condition. They see working from different places not as a luxury but as a way to increase their creativity, reduce burnout, and stay more connected to nature. But it's not just about working anywhere or working anytime. Indonesian Gen Z sees flexibility in the method of work too. A growing trend is the use of asynchronous communication, where teams collaborate across time zones without the pressure of being online at the same time. Same like this, same like now, yeah. This style suit their need for personal time, while still maintaining productivity and keeping teams goal on track. And now, when we talk about working smart, wellness play a huge role. Mental health awareness has skyrocketed in Indonesia, especially in the wake up of the pandemic, COVID-19, and Gen Z is very much at the forefront of this cultural shift. They are not just looking for success, but for sustainable success, a life that balance work with well-being. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for perspective to how the generations that interpret in their context. So now let's talk about the role of education and institutional readiness. So to what extent are Indonesian universities and schools equipping students for this hybrid reality? And are there any initiatives or innovations that aim to bridge traditional academic systems with the demands of like digital physical lifestyle right now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Subiat. This is a fascinating question, yeah, because in Indonesia, we are at a critical juncture where educational institutions are actively rethinking how to prepare students for the hybrid world. Universities and schools are not just adopting digital tools, but are also innovating in how they integrate both digital and physical learning to better equip a student for the challenge and opportunities of this new reality. First and foremost, many Indonesia universities have shifted to a blended learning model, a combination of online learning, face-to-face session, and a collaborative virtual platform. This model provides flexibility while maintaining the benefit of direct interaction. 2022 study by University of Indonesia found that over 65% of students prefer a hybrid approach because it allows them to enjoy the best of both worlds, digital efficiency and physical connection. For instance, University of Gadjah Mada in Yogyakarta has implemented a hybrid classroom system that allows students to participate in course both physically and online depending on their schedule and preference. They use video conferencing tools like Zoom or remote student and a digital whiteboard system for interactive learning during physical session. This hybrid classroom model is designed to help students develop adaptability skills which are crucial for the hybrid workplace. Aside from classroom hybridization, many universities are leveraging online learning platform for facility collaborative project, which allows students to work across geographic boundaries. For example, IPB University has launched a virtual campus initiative where students from different regions collaborate on projects through digital platform. This is not only enhance digital literacy but also encourage students to engage in cross-culture exchange as essential skill in the globalized hybrid world. More than just technical training, there is a strong focus on equipping students with 21st century skills that will help them navigate a digital physical lifestyle effectively. Moreover, university like IPB University, University Prasetya Mulia in Jakarta are leading initiative to create work-life balance training, teaching students how to manage their time effectively between online and offline responsibilities. This kind of initiative are helping students redefine productivity in the context of hybrid work, emphasizing mental wellness alongside academic achievement. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Wali, for sharing your experience and how your university is working to offer like work-life balance courses and the role of universities and educational institutions to train the student to ready for the hybrid workplace. This is so much insightful. And now let's talk about the youth collaboration across borders. So do you see any opportunity for Indonesians and Southeast Asian youth, perhaps youth from Myanmar, to collaborate and cooperate to designing smarter water approaches in learning and working for their life?
Yeah. Absolutely. There are tremendous opportunities for Indonesia and Southeast Asian youth, including those from Myanmar, to collaborate in designing smarter hybrid approach to learning and working. The potential for regional cooperation is immense, particularly as Southeast Asia has become a vibrant hub for technological advancement and youth-driven innovation. The ASEAN as a regional organization provide an excellent framework for collaboration across countries. In recent years, there has been a noticeable increase in youth-driven initiative under the Asian banner, especially in areas such as digital innovation, sustainability, and social entrepreneurship. These initiatives are ideal for cross-border collaboration in designing smarter hybrid approach to both education and work. One notable example is the Asian Youth Dialogue, which brings together young people from across Asian nations, including Indonesia and Myanmar, to discuss and tackle challenges like digital inequality, education access, and future workforce needs. Asian Youth Dialogue has served as a platform for youth to co-create solutions that blend local knowledge with global digital trend. Youth-led platforms are driving the change. For example, the Sea Junction, a Bangkok-based non-profit, brings young Southeast Asians together to collaborate on projects that address social impact and digital solution. Platforms like this provide a space for youth to learn from each other, exchange knowledge, and co-create hybrid learning modules or new working paradigms that blend digital tools with the cultural nuance of the region. Yeah, the collaboration opportunity for Indonesia and Southeast Asian youth are abundant and varied. The region is uniquely positioned to create hybrid approach to learning and works that are not only technological advanced but also deeply rooted in the local context. From cross-border digital platform to hybrid learning initiative and regional partnership, the foundation for a smarter, more inclusive future is already being laid. The key to success lies in the spirit of collaboration, adaptability, and innovative thinking, qualities that the youth of South Asia, including those from Indonesia and Myanmar. Yeah. As it's enough. Okay.
So it's very important for like regional collaboration and cooperations and in this area. So for the last question, I would like to discuss about the role of employers in supporting the hybrid generations. So now, how are the Indonesian companies responding to generation need for like work-life balance, purpose, and flexibility? Are there and standout sectors or companies that are leading to this space, or companies or are there we stay seeing a lot between workplace cultures and the Generation Z expectation? How do you think about that?
Yeah, okay, thank you. The response from Indonesian companies to Gen Z demand for balance, purpose, and flexibility has been evolving. But there is still a noticeable gap between what Gen Z expect and the traditional workplace culture in many sectors. That said, we are beginning to see some leading companies make significant strides in adapting to this new expectation. Gen Z is entering the workforce with a very distinct set of values. They are not just looking for a paycheck, they are seeking purpose-driven work that align with their values. This generation values work-life balance, mental health, and flexibility. They also expect to work for companies that have a clear social responsibility agenda, whether it's related to sustainability, community development, or diversity and inclusion. Moreover, Gen Z is used to being digitally connected, so they expect flexible work environment, including the option for remote work, hybrid model, and the use of collaborative digital tools to ensure productivity even outside the office. Several Indonesia companies have been quick to adapt to Gen Z needs, especially those industries like technology, startup, and creative sector, which are more agile and attuned to the values of younger generation. For example, Gojek, Gojek, a leader in Indonesia tech ecosystem, offer a flexible work environment where employees can option for hybrid work arrangement. Additionally, Gojek provide opportunity for career development, promoting purpose-driven project, and has a strong focus on employee well-being. The company initiative in mental health support, corporate social responsibility, and sustainability resonate strongly with Gen Z expectation. And second, Tokopedia, another tech giant, has implemented flexible working arrangement post-pandemic COVID-19, ensuring that employees can work from home or in the office with the ability to collaborate digitally using the latest communication tools. Tokopedia also provide personal development program to ensure its employees are always growing professionally and personally. However, there are still industries and companies where a traditional mindset persists, creating a gap between Gen Z expectation and workplace culture. For example, sectors like banking, manufacturing, and traditional corporate entities often maintain rigid structures around working hours, office presence, and hierarchical decision-making process. The sector are still adjusting to the flexibility that Gen Z expect, and many young employees are finding it difficult to reconcile their working-life balance in such environment. There are a few standout sectors that are ahead of the curve is responding to Gen Z need for balance, purpose, and flexibility. Tech and startup, creative industries, including advertising, media, and design companies, is also responding positively to Gen Z preference. Many creative firms, especially those in digital marketing and branding, embrace flexibility in terms of hour and location. These companies often use collaborative tools like Slack, Trello, and Google Meet to keep team connected and agile. Education and edtech companies in education sector and edtech startup are also paving the way. Ruang Guru, for instance, a leading edtech company in Indonesia, offer hybrid learning opportunity for both employee and student. They have adopted a more flexible work culture that include work from home option, especially in the aftermath of the pandemic. Okay. In conclusion, while Indonesia companies are making strides toward embracing the value of balance, purpose, and flexibility that Gen Z desire, the pace of change varies across industries.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts. That I learned that there are some companies are readiness and give opportunity for Generation Z, but in some areas like banking, they need to be developed and more consider about the thoughts of the Generation Z's idea of work-life balance. And thank you so much for sharing your views and thoughts to this podcast. And do you have any final thoughts or final advice to Generation Z regarding today our podcast title like work smart and life smart?
Okay, thank you. I truly believe Gen Z holds remarkable potential, not just is mastering technology, but is shaping a healthier, more inclusive, and sustainable way of living and working. Yes, the challenges are complex, but within the complexity lies of opportunity. The hybrid world we are navigating today can become a rich space for growth, if we approach it with awareness, courage, and collaboration. And thank you for having me in this podcast. I hope today's discussion spark reflection and inspire all of us to rethink how we live and work in this new era. Okay, thank you, Suryat. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay.